Chris here with another fresh tip for you all. In this video we are going to continue our look at painting the noise marine. In this video we're going to take a look at painting the lenses. We're going to create a little bit of OSL. To get us started we're going to use some ceramite white. This color we're using here, just because the ceramite white covers on top of other colors very nicely, and it's just providing a base tone because we're going to go fairly bright in the main body of the lenses. So I highly recommend if you're going to go with a really bright color, and if you're creating OSL, you pretty much are going to be wanting to do this kind of step anyway. So you very carefully just fill in that eye lens. Don't worry about hitting like any parts of the armor or anything like that, as we'll get to that in a moment. Screamer Pink. Now, I'm going with Screamer Pink because I am going with a bit of a magenta look for the eyes, which will make sense further down the road. I'm using about 2 drops of medium to 1 drop of paint. I want this to be very thinned out for the paint, as we are going to glaze, and with our brush we're simply going to apply this on the bottom portion of the lens, on the helmet just below the lens. So there's just this just really the thinnest part of the brush is applied just below the lens, so it's on the armor of the helmet, and we can also fill in just a bit of the edges outside, kind of like an eyeliner type of situation here. We don't really want to put any on above the, like where the eyebrow would be, as that really wouldn't be where light would gather. You're most likely to get more gathering of light where it would basically fall on the cheekbones, as you can pretty much see here. And this was about 2 applications of the color. Let it dry before we move on to other colors, Emperor's Children being that next color. And with this we're just going to simply apply it, grab a little dollop from our little blob we have there on the palette, and mix it into the Screamer Pink. It basically would be more like a 1-to-1 mix type of ratio. I just kind of mixed it until it was deeper than Emperor's Children, but not quite as dark as Screamer Pink. And basically I'm applying this mostly within the eye socket, as well as getting just a little bit to gather on the edge of the lens below or just above the cheekbone, as it were. Here I'm trying to be very careful here, just applying just a bit of the Emperor's Children right into the central point of the lens. Now, once you've completed this phase, you pretty much might be happy with where you're at as far as creating the OSL type of effect. Again, the tiny little dot will be applied to the brow, or not the brow, the cheekbone. We're going to take ceramite white and basically mix it into our Emperor's Children here, roughly a 1-to-1 type mix ratio. Really, it's just so that it's a really light pink. There also is edge colors as well as dry colors that are pretty much the same value. If you're more comfortable using that, by all means. I just happen to have the paints, and I figured I'd just mix them. And they're just basically applied right into the central point of the lens. Now we're going to come in with pure ceramite white. We're just going to slap this in right into the center of the eye. And pretty much you could be done with the OSL effect. From here, we have this fairly convincing OSL, and it looks fine. We could resaturate it a bit with the Screamer Pink, but we're going to use Golden's Fluorescent Pink. It's kind of hard to read the label here, but it's Fluorescent Pink. This is from their High Flow line, which is a really thin bodied paint, but it's so fun. And basically we can apply this in just 2 thin little coats right over the lens of the eye, and we'll get a little bit onto the just above the cheekbone as well. And it's really hard to see on the camera, but this is glowing. I do kind of bring the helmet into the darker area of this shot, just to kind of illustrate how bright it is. But I mean, you can see it on the palette how really bright and saturated the color is. And we're just going to apply this pretty much over the entirety of the lens, and this really on its own makes the eyes glow, which is really, really fantastic. Here we're going to use Vulpus Pink. Basically what we're going to do here is we're going to use this to create a bit of separation from the lens and the helmet, so that we just have a slightly deeper color, and again some separation so that we can see that the light is gathering on the cheekbone of the helmet. And as you can see there, we got a little bit of separation. So again, it recesses the eye a little bit, creates that OSL, and gives us our desired effect. So there we can pretty much leave it, or we could come in with a little bit more ceramite white, which I'm going to do here, and add a tiny little dot into the center. With the fluorescent pink, it is really quite bright, and it's really hard to look at just kind of staring into it. But here you can see with just a little dot of white, it really brings it all together, makes those eyes look like they're glowing. And of course I did them in magenta because further down the line, I am going to be using this color more. You can see how I go into the shadows there, and it's you can see how bright that is. But to the eye, it is wicked bright. It is like, it's glowing. These eyes are glowing. But don't take my word for it. Try it for yourself. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to click that like and subscribe. And a huge, huge thank you to all my patrons. And if you're considering patron support, link is in the description below. Thank you for watching. And take care of those brushes.